articles that impact the lives of people in the region, and she actually wrote this article. So I'm going to read it in its entirety as I give credit to her. Good morning, Petra. Hope you have a nice day. The Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, June 18th, 1981. The Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, OECS, came into being when 7 Eastern Caribbean countries signed a treaty, the Treaty of Bastia, agreeing to cooperate and promote unity and solidarity amongst the members. OECS is the successor of the Leeward Islands. Sorry about that. OECS is the successor of the Leeward Islands political organization known as the West Indies Associated States. The OECS is an international intergovernmental organization dedicated to regional integration in the Eastern Caribbean countries. The treaty became known as the Treaty of Basseterre, named in honor of the capital city of St. Kitts and Nevis, where it was signed. The following members were Antigua and Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, Dominica, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, and Montserrat. The British Virgin Islands of Anguilla became an associated member in 1984 on November 22nd. And in 1998, respectively, Martinique became an associate member on April 9th, 2019, and Guadeloupe joined as an associate member. On March 14th, 2019, the administrative body of the OECS is the Commission, which is based in Castries, the capital of St. Lucia. The 1981 treaty was upgraded and replaced on June 18, 2010, creating an economic union, which is an agreement between countries where barriers to trade and removed for the single market with a custom union. The revised treaty established a single financial and economic space where goods, people, and capital move freely and allow for the harmonization of monetary and governmental policies relating to taxes and revenue. The countries of which the economic union continues to adopt a common approach to trade, health, education, and the environment, as well as the development of critical sectors such as agriculture, tourism, energy, provisions of the treaty and the provisions of ratification were expected to include the free movement and goods and trade in the service within the OECS, free movement of labor by December 07, free movement and capital via support of money and capital market programs of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, a regional assembly of parliamentarians, and a common external tariff. Now, a lot of folks around the region, especially from the member states, don't really pay attention to these things. We're now hearing more and more about the discussions afoot to more or less ratify the free movement of our people throughout the OECS. Currently, Ambassador Vaughan, forget his last name, is conducting a series of discussions with all the various sectors throughout the society to get their feedback on the free movement of people in the region. We know that one of the member states have said categorically no, they're not taking part in that. What we're doing here in St. Kitts, as far as I understand, is to reach out to the many sectors of society, tradesmen, accountants, sports people, taximen, professional accountants, just about everybody, architects, to get their feedback, their take on the whole free movement of people in the region issue. And from that, they take it back to the PM. Based on the feedback from the public, that will inform his decision as to how to go about implementing the program or not. I think there are options where it should be implemented between 1 year, 2 year, phased in within a 3-year time frame. So that data has been collected as we speak, and at some point in the very near future, that presentation will be laid on the desk of the Prime Minister. So it was said some time ago, because I think March 10th was the deadline for the implementation of the program. And public was saying, hey, you can't just drop it on us. There was no consultation. My understanding was this was supposed to be phased in just prior to COVID. But then COVID would have interrupted the whole region in terms of planning and whatever programs they wanted to lay out. So there's been a delay, but to the point where that the discussions are being had at the moment, and just about every sector of the public will be weighing in, giving their opinion, and this will inform the Prime Minister's decision. We've heard from folks in the taxi fraternity that this is something they're not looking forward to. They quote the challenges in the industry in terms of not enough work, and they are not ready to entertain anybody else from outside the region who can come here and live, set up shop, and operate in the industry. But yesterday would have made, I would guess, 43 years since the Treaty of Bastille. And the intent is mainly about integration, trading with our local partners, skill sets. Persons with certain skill sets can set up shop in any of the member countries, etc. It's a two-way street, and sometimes we hear the remark, well, everybody want to come here. You have the same opportunities to go to another territory, another country, etc. Some remark about the minimum wages in some countries that are lesser than here in St. Kitts. And nobody will want to go to such countries because you'll be earning less. But all this is good debate that can lead to an informed decision from the powers that be as to whether or not we will implement that program or not. We tend to look to farther field, trying to form alliances with those major nationalities because we feel we can benefit more economically from them. There are those of the opinion that if you band together in the region and create a single market economy, you can better compete. You can better compete in the world markets. We would have heard about the 2025 by 25 initiative, where the region is hoping to reduce the import bill by 25% by next year, 2025. I'm not sure how successful that is, it is at the moment. I'm not sure they'll meet the deadline in terms of fleshing out the program to meet the targets that were laid out, right? 25 by 25, reducing the region's import bill by 25% by 25. Sounds good. But it's a regional effort. And this is what the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, the Treaty of Bastille, this is what it was the intention, the vision of the founding fathers to have one economic union, etc. Now I have a call in line that I must take, so let's take this call. Go to caller, you live on Voices. Go to caller, you live on Voices. Okay, would have lost that call. Let me take this call here. I'm on radio, I'll have to call it back. You having a call?
Yeah.
Good day, caller. You live on Voices.
Good morning, the king.
Good morning, sir. How are thou? Good to hear from you.
I am thou art good without the pigeon.
Okay, well.
And how is the king of knockout?
Oh, man, my back is broader and stronger, you know what I mean? You
Got
get
everything, man. You got
licks
everything.
longer than you have to learn, so I'm okay.
Yeah, you got everything to go. Now, I want to say something here, brother.
Yes.
You know, Greg is my partner, and he does say a lot of things. Sometimes I agree
Gregory?
with him, and sometimes I don't. Yeah, eh?
Gregory?
Yeah, Gregory.
Yeah.
A good friend. Now, I want to say this here. No scientist on earth will be able to make any instrument to X-ray a human heart and see love in that heart or iniquity. And the two of them cannot be in a human heart at the same time. You got to be one without the other. And the Bible says, all them who say, Lord, Lord, shall enter in. A lot of people are lip Christians. And some people are the heart Christian. They have Christ in the heart. And those with the lip Christians, they're only on the surface. A lot of them say they are Christians. And they're holding iniquity in the heart against other people.
Where do you stand?
Know such persons and who they're holding iniquity for. A lot of them holding iniquity in the heart of Christians. Because they're not back in that party that the politician leader there is of. They're holding iniquity in the heart against them. It goes both ways, man and woman, who say they are Christian. Now, St. Kitts was named St. Christopher after a lawyer named Christopher Columbus. Say he discovered the West Indies, including St. Kitts. Now, when he come to St. Kitts and say he discovered St. Kitts, the Arawaks were here first, so he never see them. They were in a crab hole that he say he ain't seen nobody, and he go back and say he discovered a place called St. Kitts and they call it St. Christopher. Well, his name and the behavior of him is very much contagious in St. Kitts, telling lies, lie, lie, lie. And lie is going to mash up this country and anybody who base the facts on lies. Because here what happened. Christopher Columbus, local Christopher Columbus, he get brainwashed in Cuba, and then he get dictator lessons from Russia. Then he went up to China for money to buy the election for Labour. That is what happened right.
We have a local Christopher Columbus?
Yeah, our local Christopher Columbus.
I am not aware of that person. We have a local...
Okay, I can tell you who. The lowest person in St. Kitts right now. That everybody, when they ask that person certain question, they're giving you Baba we lie.
Mr. Labert?
No, man. Christopher Columbus. Christopher Columbus, but he could be, his middle name could be Loibert.
I see.
Yeah, but Christopher Columbus. Because pure lies going on in this country. I've been hearing something all of a sudden now that people been underselling passport. Let me say something. When somebody come to your country or go to a country to invest in that country, you got to have proof to show that you invest in that. You don't just go in a country and buy a passport and then you run down with it and say you invest in something in St. Kitts. It's not so you go. You can't just come in and buy a passport and run down with it. Because you could buy it and run down to a country, go to your Moldau, or you could buy it and sell it. But you're not a citizen here, you only buy it. When you come to, when you supposed to get your CIB by investment, and the person who sign off on every passport supposed to have idea and know exactly that what was wrong what was right.
The
Before
Minister
you sign off.
of National Security is supposed to be that person who signs off ultimately on the passports.
That's
But there
right.
has to be due diligence done before by the various levels of those who are being interviewed. And once you pass those tests, that's when the Minister of National Security is supposed to sign on. One of the problems we have, let me just engage you a bit, okay?
Yeah.
I saw just recently what I can call sniping in Parliament. There's a hot button issue up there, and the nation is asking for explanations.
Yes.
What we're hearing is about Nomi, is he, is she, sniping and insinuations in Parliament that does not serve the public. I just left the circus down there, engaged two young men in conversation, and they're on either side of the issue, right? Most of us don't have all the relevant information. We're not informed enough to make an informed decision. So we're taking sides, as you mentioned, and it's really not healthy.
No.
We need to know exactly what goes on. Somebody said on a sister program that they're happy that Philippe Martinez would have filed a RICO charges against, the entities in the country. Because had it not been for him, we would not have known what's going on. It's sad to know that there are people here in the country, the average citizen or the concerned persons who have been asking for an accounting from the government in terms of how many passports have been sold, what is the status of the program, what's going on, and we cannot get any straight answers.
None.
Now it seems that we will get our answers, perhaps maybe based on the transcripts of a court issue, because the thing is being fleshed out on an international court around the world, another block to the Federation.
Yes.
So you mentioned on the selling now, Martinez is presenting himself as a whistleblower. We should not have come to this. And one of the questions we have to ask, how do you come to a country or go to a destination as an investor, have the premier of that country pay your accommodations up to the tune of $150,000 a month, right?
Yeah.
Let it make sense.
And
He
let me tell
himself
you
said,
something
based on an interview, he only came to make movies. And when he was leaving, he was enticed by the then Prime Minister to stay here by dangling the CBS program in front of him.
Okay.
So they entice him to stay. He's saying that what they sign on to is not happening because the Chinese is selling the same passport at a lesser price. And he tried to warn the government that what is happening. So you find there are two factions now in government, one on the Chinese side, one on our Martinez side, and you're here in Parliament sniping. All the people here, and they have a clip up there with about 4 persons labeled enemies of the state. I was
Listen to this now.
Yeah.
When a person know that they have done wrong, and a question been asked about what they have done, and they bob and weave in and don't give you an answer, they know that what they did wasn't right, and they're trying to see if they could hide. Now, you know more than I. Parliament is for all government ministers and opposition ministers. And sometimes listeners are going there too. But does the cabinet open to the public like that to go in there to hear what the government ministers and the
No. Cabinet is different.
Right. Okay, then. Cabinet is what you call government confidential business among government ministers. Nobody have no right in cabinet. So when a lot of things come out in the air and the wind blowing hard and they go down, so and you hear it in the man's mouth because he come across the ear and he go up the one and you hear him.
That's by design.
Okay, point boss.
Okay.
And I hear Africa, my friend, say something yesterday. And I 100% agree with Africa. Stand up, Africa. They can't make you hush. Talk your mind. Everybody talk your mind. Don't be no coward and no Judas.
Okay.
Speak out when you have to. Because it is, if you don't clear your conscience, it will kill you. Thank you, the king.
Thank you so very much. Your first caller, and we've had a mouthful from you. We're going to pause now to go and give credit to sponsors, and be right back.
TDC Financial Services, we're here for you to help you make your dreams come true. Whether your needs are big or small, we'll support you with them all. TDC Financial Services, we are strong. TDC Financial Services, this is where you belong.
TDC Financial Services, where money is made easy.
Rams the good food people, always there to serve you. Rams the good food people, locations right near you. Rams the good food people, in-store specials for you. Rams the good food people. Rams. When you need better service, Rams is always here. Better value, better prices. Rams is always here. Rewarding your loyalty. Rams is always here. We are community. We are family. We are family. Rams for you and me. We are community. Rams for you and me.
Floor stands with West Indies fans behind We Cricket. Be a part of the excitement when you sign up for any broadband or postpaid plan and get a chance to win a trip for two to an ICC Men's T20 World Cup match in Antigua. Get 2 chances if you sign up for both. Visit discoverflow.co to sign up or upgrade. Promotion ends June 15th. Terms and conditions apply. Flow, official telecom supporter of the ICC Men's T20 World Cup.
Once again, good morning to our viewers and listeners. Welcome back to the program. My name is Socrates, host of today's presentation of Voices, and we just had our first call of the day. We have another online. Good day, caller. You're live on Voices.
Hello.
Good day. Yes, you're live on Voices.
Yeah, I forget to leave this with you. I always wonder, and I would like a Bible scholar to tell me if you know the reason why Jesus only chose 12 men to be his disciples and no woman.
Is
I
there
wonder
any?
if it's because of what Proverbs say. It is better to dwell in the corner of a house top than in a broad house, in a wide house with a brawling woman. That is one. And we know what the Bible say. What was the downfall of Samson? And what Job's wife tell him to do. We know all them in the Bible. So I want to know if that was the reason why Jesus ain't choosing a woman between his 12 disciples.
What you have, right?
Yeah.
Of all the many books written, quote unquote, in the Bible, you don't have any representation by women. You have men just writing all the things. You have not heard from one woman. So until you hear from them, we have this slanted image of women and their laws and traditions that pigeonhole women in certain roles. They're not supposed to be seen or heard. So that mindset that we would have had, even reinforced by the very same Bible that speaks about equality, right? They say all men created equal. We're supposed to assume that it extends to women also. So we can go through a whole other debate. He chose 12 men and this and that and that. I don't subscribe to that mindset, right? Now, this opens the door for our friend to calling and speak about the assigned role of women. Right? So I have you to blame for that if it happens.
Okay.
Right? Because he's going to tell me it's biblical, etc. But all the books that we know of was supposedly written by men.
Yeah. Look
Women
here.
have no contribution here at all.
Right, look here. Adam alone was in the garden. We are told.
We are told.
Yeah, and then God put a woman in there with him.
We are
So
told.
that's a man and a woman in the garden.
We are told.
Yeah, by the Bible. So that's a man and a woman in the garden. But 12 men and no woman between them. That's the question I'm asking.
Maybe they want the Rainbow Coalition.
I don't know if anybody know the reason why. The
Okay.
woman was the 12 apostles was mixed with woman.
Well,
That's my question.
in that part of the world and the whole time frame, it was all about men ruling, men as leaders of the church, men as leaders of government, society, etc. Women didn't have a role. We find the role of women excelling in military campaigns and all that.
Yeah, but remember when Jesus chose the 12 disciples, he chose all men, you know. So that's the reason why I asking the question why. I don't know.
Okay, well,
All right.
I don't know if any expert can.
He put a woman in the boy, one man, you know. He put a woman in the Garden of Eden, boy, one man in there, and he put a woman in there by him.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
That is the gospel according to culture. We want to thank you for your contribution, etc. As I opened the program this morning, we're speaking about the 18th of June, which was yesterday. We're still celebrating, I believe, 43 years since the signing of the Treaty of Bastille. And for the folks who may have overlooked it, trying to raise discussions about what it means to people, how have it benefited us as we look forward to implementing the free movement of OECS nationals within the region, the pros and cons of that, etc. Here in St. Kitts, we've had more or less a negative reaction to it. We don't want them here because we can't go to the other countries and this and that and that. I think it wasn't so attractive. Economic-wise, they wouldn't want to come here. One of the things I raised some time ago was the PAP program. I was saying that some of those funding should have been used to better train our young people and give them skill sets that would help them if they wanted to go to, say, Antigua to work. They would have a skill set that can better assist them there rather than to just go into the regular workforce. So we are told that we don't have certain skill sets here among our people. So that free movement of the people in the region will serve and help. But we have, and we've had the opportunity, even from what we call the passport money, to put programs in place to train our people, make them more self-reliant, more efficient to work in those markets. We take the phone lines. We were not fast enough. Caller, if you get a chance, please try again. We would like to hear what you have to say. It's just about 35 minutes past 11. It's on a beautiful Wednesday, and we're enjoying our double slice of paradise. By the way, we had yesterday in the port the largest ship in the world. You have the caller there? Okay, caller, you're live on Voices.
Socrates.
Good day, sir. How are you?
In Jesus' name.
Mm-hmm.
I'm blessed in Jesus' name. Greetings to you and to all the listeners in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Jesus, who is the only Savior of his chosen, his elect sinners to save them from the sins and from hell, and the second person of the eternal Trinity. Now, you with the call just before this.
Previous caller, yeah.
Yes. And when I tune in, I just see a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm misunderstanding anything, you correct me, because I only tune in when it was already in progress.
I told him he was provoking you.
Yeah?
I told him that he was provoking you.
Well, I almost missed the call. I almost missed.
Let's hear you.
No, man. By the grace of Jesus Christ, when you leave things in his hands, you don't easily provoke, because you know Jesus is on the case and in full control of everything.
Okay, so we let that one pass outside the off stump.
Easily get provoked. Huh?
So we let that one pass outside the off stump then.
Yeah. Well. Let me say this in comment on that.
Mm-hmm.
on that issue, because it is something that, you see, we don't see these as great importance, but these are great importance in the prosperity or cursing of our federation. Because if we obey the Bible, in God's way, he will prosper us. If we disobey the Bible, in God's way, he will curse and judge us. And we are going down the road of his cursing and judgment because we are disobeying the Bible left, right, and center.
Mm-hmm.
Now, concerning that issue, Jesus gave the answer through Paul, whom a lot of people love to hate. I think Paul is the most hated human Bible author who has been used by God to write his word. Paul, who was, I believe, the greatest man of God. As a sinner, he was the greatest man of God, I believe. And this is what I'm going to say. Paul said in 1 Timothy that the reason why women ought not to exercise authority over men, and he's talking both in government, in the family, and in the church. There's no mention, business is not a part of, a woman can head a business, no problem with business. But when it comes to the family, the church and government, those three are off limits for woman headship. And the reason why Paul said that is because he said in that same chapter, I think it's either chapter 2 or chapter 3, one of the two, that God made Adam first, and then he made Eve after he made Adam. And not only that, he also said it was the woman who was deceived by the serpent, and Adam was the one, he was not deceived. What Adam did, he did intentionally. Adam disobeyed God. Adam disobeyed God intentionally, and not because he was deceived by the serpent, which in Eve was deceived. And he gave those two reasons as to why the man, it is God's will for the man to be head of leadership in the church, government, and the church, government, and what's the other one I said?
Church, government, and
the family. Yeah, the family. So those are the reasons why God gave man the headship in those things and not woman, and that is why he chose his 12 disciples, because his 12 disciples are 12 apostles. They were the head of the church. Well, Judas, of course, got disqualified.
As you understand, they were illiterate.
Huh?
As you understand, were they all illiterate?
Well, it was not. Well,
except for one or two.
Jews, they were not illiterate because they wrote scriptures.
Really?
God used them to write scriptures, so they were not illiterate.
For the research, so that they were literate and they could not write the scriptures.
Yeah, they were literate.
There are research that shows that they were illiterate and could not write the scriptures.
What is the evidence you said for that?
There are research up there I don't have with me.
Yeah,
let's say school of thought.
No, that ain't true. They wrote scriptures.
Mm-hmm.
They wrote scriptures. They could have read. They wrote scriptures, and there is no evidence against those facts that they wrote, that they didn't, that they.
Okay.
There's no evidence to show that they didn't write the scriptures. They wrote what they said they wrote.
Let's go to current day.
Therefore, they were literate.
Let's go to current day. Okay, not to cut you off. Okay, let's come to current day, St. Kitts Nevis. We have a very large percent of our female population who are very, very much qualified to lead corporation, churches, government, etc. What should we say to them?
Just what the Bible says. It's the role of the man to be ruling in the government, the churches, and the family, in spite of how brilliant the women were. Because even back in the Bible time, there were women who was a lot more brilliant than a lot of men. But what?
They were disavowed.
It wasn't God's will for them to be leading in those areas, because Because the reason why God set up isn't because of the brilliance of the person. The reason why God set up, as we are told by Paul, is because the man was created first, and it was the woman and not the man who was deceived by the serpent. The man acted intentionally. So those were the two reasons
Okay.
that man was given the headship, not because of brilliance. It had nothing to do with brilliance.
So if there's a female prime minister here in St. Kitts now, what will you do? Would you leave?
What would I do?
Would you do like lot and leave?
No, what I would do, what I do is what I will be still doing. I will be once I have the strength,
Speak out.
the breath, and the withdrawal, I will be speaking out.
Okay.
And hello.
I said okay.
Yeah. I will be speaking out and obeying the Bible. That's what I will be doing. Because listen here, a woman who is godly is far less disqualified for those positions than men who are not godly. And we have ungodly. We have always had ungodly men in all of these situations, church, family, and government ruling those spheres and those institutions.
Need a call on a moment?
I did.
Need a call?
I just
Okay.
went on with life.
Okay. I want to
Living
segue.
aside to the Bible.
I want to segue into something else, okay? And I hope you can give me your feedback. Ambassador Larry Vaughan is now conducting more or less a survey throughout all the various sectors of government and the community to get a feedback from the general population on the free movement of goods and people in the region. Okay? What are your thoughts on that?
What I thought on that? Well, I've mentioned this issue more than once. I have said more than once, including on Win FM, that, again, where the Bible is concerned, these immigration laws are unbiblical. They go against the Bible. The Bible teaching is that we should not be setting up barriers for anyone to enter and to leave a country.
Okay.
So, in other words, in other words, free movement of goods and people is a step in the biblical direction.
There are territorial laws that we have to obey, but I'm saying just for the bare bones, so you would be in favor of free movement of skilled and just general nationals from the various territories coming to St. Kitts to live and vice versa, going back to whatever country?
Yeah, you got to answer the question. The answer to the question is in what I'm about to say. You said that there are territorial laws, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But
Each territory have the laws.
The highest law of all countries is the Bible.
Okay.
And everything else stands or falls based upon the Bible. And let me tell you something as well. Good people disobey bad laws. Good people disobey bad laws. And like as in the civil rights movement and in rebellion against slavery and that sort of stuff. Good people disobey bad laws.
You got a good point.
And
You've got a good point.
yeah, and so
Okay.
what I'm saying is that.
Okay, wrap up the question. Have a call online, so just wrap it up if you can quickly.
Yes, very good. So what I'm saying that the free movement of goods and people is a right step in the biblical way to go.
Thank you very much for that. Much appreciated. Caller, you're live on Voices. Yeah, I missed the last caller. Okay, so Gregory is in favor of the free movement of people in the region in the biblical context. Understand that. This is what I want to get the feedback from the public today. How do we feel about our Caribbean nationals? Okay, go to caller. You're live on Voices.
Hi, good morning, King.
Good morning, sir. How about that?
I'm giving thanks for life. What do you have a specific topic?
Yesterday made 23 years since the implementation of the signing of the Treaty of Bastia, the OECS countries. And I read the whole text of it. But we're talking now about free movement of people within the region of all the 7 OECS countries and the affiliated states. It was done on June 18th, 1981, just before we went into independence, and called the Treaty of Bastia because it was signed here. This was there were 7 countries signed on. Later on, we had like Montserrat, Martinique, Guadeloupe, and so we became associate member states. So currently now the discussion is on free movement of people without the region. I want to get feedback on that.
Yeah. the signing of the Treaty of Bastille.
Yes.
That was it.
Well, we
It was
any other
as a
topic, but I
result
want to get
of
your
a-
feedback on that because Gregory says in favor of free movement of people in the region as long as the army represents what the Bible states.
Yeah, so the signing of the Treaty of Bastille, it was as an improvement of the previous Treaty of Chagaramas in Trinidad and Tobago.
I believe so, yes.
Okay, good. Because it's wider, it's CARICOM. It's not just OECS, it's CARICOM. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm all for that because we have to strengthen the respective states in the regions. We have to strengthen it. In spite of the lopsidedness of certain advantages from those respective states, like it is a disadvantage for St. Kitts and Nevis because we don't have like a campus of the University of the West Indies on St. Kitts. Kudos to Antigua who have advocated for
Yes.
and have gotten a campus there so that one can just drive to, as opposed to we taking a flight, expensive as the flights are, to go to those respective territories. We can go now easily to maybe Antigua because they are closer. But that was one of the advantage of the bigger territories and their
But that's in pursuit of academics. I'm talking about generally people moving throughout the years. Huh?
I am getting there.
Okay.
I just want to lay the groundwork for. Until someone calling, allow me to lay the groundwork for. I am not only speaking to you, my king. I am speaking to the whole community, and I deal with logic. I intend to win over the hearts and minds of people, as I always did, and I will continue to. So with those advantages, those bigger territories will have more professionals than us, quite naturally, and that is what one will have an outcry. Us in the smaller territories will have an outcry because our nationals really want jobs too. But it is always like this. A prophet has no honor in his own land. It will be always like this. A national of St. Kitts and Nevis will go elsewhere and get more respect as opposed to they getting respect in their own territory. It's always like that. It seems like it's a prophecy. So I am all for the free movement,
Okay.
including the other extra territories and Haiti. Because someday, who knows, with the white cloud that is hovering over our heads, who knows how the economies varies in the regions. We might eventually have to go somewhere in another 10, 15, 12 years, depending on how these things spoil the king. A lot of our nationals, they have not realized what is at stake at this moment, So who can pray? Who can fight? Who can box, kick, thump to defend St. Kitts and Nevis at this moment in time? Whatsoever you could do it with all your might to save St. Kitts and Nevis. Because the quality of life that we enjoy now, we may not enjoy it another 4 or 5 years from now. So we might be trying to build a boat and take a raft and go to Haiti. Because the pendulum might just swing the other way. I want to address what Greg said a while ago. And I would give Greg credit for saying that all the women now, they could do business. Because even the partner hand business down at the marketplaces came out of the women ingenuity. It was their ingenious who came up with the partner hand system. So I want to give him credit for that. But I want to go a little further to tell Greg that it was the women under Jeremiah. You read Jeremiah. I can't remember the chapter. Read Jeremiah when the women say, don't think that we're doing these things in our home unbeknown to our husbands. Our husband knows that we bake cake in our homes to the goddess, to the queen of heaven, or whatever. So those are glimpses. There are glimpses in the Bible that women played a prominent role, and they are written things which made its way into the Bible, which does not have a female name to it, like the book of Revelation. It has a lot of feminine connotation to it, and other books that they stole the saying, the writings of the women, and they attribute them to other male figures. It is a dirty, dirty politics in the book that we read and we enjoy today. It is a dirty, dirty politics, but one has to call it out for what it is. The Bible, as we love and we read and we went to Sunday school and read, it is a dirty politics against our mothers, the women who are responsible for 8 billion people on the earth today. Come on, let's call it dirty politics for what it is. So Greg, go and read Jeremiah and hear the woman telling Jeremiah, we are not going to listen to you because we listen to you and we are starving and we are suffering. When we used to bake cake and pour libation to the Queen of Heaven, everything was good with us. And don't think that we are hiding in our homes and doing it unbeknown to our husbands. Our husbands know exactly what we are doing. Thanks for listening, the King.
Thank you very much for that. I think we can pause one more time and give some credit to our sponsors at this point in time before we get to the midday news presentation.
Magnum, my brand. Everybody put a Magnum in the air now. From you a drink Magnum, make me see. Take charge of things now your place now. From the river to the beach to the street. Hot Magnum when me have in a me hand there. He are a sipper, she tell me sweet. Look for me watch for your quick time check. Yeah. Right now a Magnum for your beat. Enjoy yourself every day of the week with a Magnum. My life I forget sweeter. Must be 18 years and older to drink. Drink responsibly.
Flow stands with West Indies fans behind We Cricket. Be a part of the excitement when you sign up for any broadband or postpaid plan and get a chance to win a trip for two to an ICC Men's T20 World Cup match in Antigua. Get 2 chances if you sign up for both. Visit discoverflow.co to sign up or upgrade. Promotion ends June 15th. Terms and conditions apply. Flow, official telecom supporter of the ICC Men's T20 World Cup.
Insurance Company Limited, where you get more coverage for less.
But once again, welcome back to the program. My name is Socrates, hosting another presentation of Voices. He's got about 6 minutes before the midday newscast. We'd like to get your call out from the public on the whole issue of free movement of goods and trade in the region. Against the backdrop that yesterday was the anniversary of the signing of the Treaty of Bastille. Caller, you're live on Voices.
Good morning. Happy Juneteenth.
Yes, and happy yesterday, the 18th of
The
June.
19th.
No, yesterday was 18th.
Today's the 19th.
Today the 19th. So, yesterday was...
Today is my granddaughter's birthday in Barbados, Michaela.
Congratulations.
19th of June is Juneteenth.
Juneteenth. But I was talking about yesterday being the 18th of June, the 23rd anniversary of the signing of the Treaty of Bastille.
That's very important. Now let me answer my good friend, Africa. You know, incidentally, I have this thing that plays the Bible. And I was up one night and I listened, I must say, early morning to the book of Jeremiah. Of course, they were burning incense to the Queen of Heaven and pouring libation. And as the prophet said, and God said to Jeremiah, because they have turned away from me unto idols and gods, I will send them into captivity, which he did. He said, he tell them in Nebuchadnezzar, don't come and carry all of you out. All of you who burning and pouring to this God. The queen, this is called the Queen of Heaven. I was interested.
Okay.
They went into captivity
So,
for all of these things that turn from God, they passing through into fire, different kind of gods they worship. He said, because you have turned away from me and unto other gods, different kings, he scattered them. So sometimes when I hear this war going on, I say, God, maybe Israel going through the same thing. When we turn away from God, and a lot of our people do, because the God of this, they may act, this, that.
mm-hmm.
God has leave us, leave you to do what you want to do because he said you're going to come to an end. So don't think that when the women boasted, they throw Jeremiah in pit. They do him all kind of things because he said what the Lord said. But what the Lord said came to pass. Now, the free movement, as Africa really said, it will disadvantage us. Jamaica, Trinidad, and Barbados gave and are giving their people free, almost free tertiary education. Whenever in the 80s, they not only got free education, they got a grant, student grant,
Yes.
them to buy food
Mm-hmm.
and pay for their lodgings. So those countries have graduates and skills. They have this hard project.
With
But
resources?
they have in step, where they give the people skills. We start and stop. We're not well organized. We have the technical college, that need refurbishing. They open AVEC. You wonder where we are going up to now. They have not begun to give the
Certification?
PQ. So when Jamaicans go to all across Jamaica, there are numerous universities, numerous schools. Hart is a government one.
Vocational?
Yeah. Now, if we really intend to compete, when you go down to the technical college, they must give relevant courses. What the market need. People just coming in here, you put on this company, that person is that, and that foreigners. Nothing against them because my whole family, I married to an Antiguan, my son married to a Guyanese, my daughter married to Bajans. You understand?
I understand.
Not against anybody.
Right.
But we are not equipping our people. And we're not even giving them the extra train. Or we send them to study and when they come back. Before you create, you have all of these gaps. Before you give your people some experience, put them in there, let them learn. Look at the tourist board. Go down here.
I don't have enough time to address that right now.
But I mean, if you examine them, nothing against the person,
No, that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying, because we're almost at news time, I don't have enough time to address that.
I know.
So we'll have to come back at the other side to deal with that in more detail.
Free movement, think too fast about equipping your people.
Okay.
Compete.
Okay. I'm in agreement with you. And thank you very much for your contribution. We got about a minute before the Win FM's Midday Newscast. That's why I was saying that we don't have enough time. We're now at peak midday. So we pause for the Win FM's Midday Newscast. Sister Henry, hopefully on the other end we can continue the discourse. All right?
You found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, and Carib Brewery.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com. When it comes to the important things in life, your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider, only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Delisle Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured.
With over a century of perfection behind the Mackeson name, a smooth blend with perfect balance and richness. It's no wonder Mackeson Triple Stout has a legacy of perfection. Enjoy the world over. Introducing our new look with the same great taste. Mackeson. All hail the king.
Please drink responsibly.
With the WINNFM Midday News, I am Kevon Brown. Our top stories.
4 students receive 2024 Marcus Natta Memorial Scholarship Award. Anti-Smuggling of Migrants and Immigration Bills 2024 addresses issues of migrant smuggling. U.S. Virgin Islands official resigns amid corruption investigation. Russian warships depart from Cuba after a 5-day visit. Internationally, Putin is upgrading ties with North Korea.
Now the details.
Four students from the Irishtown Primary School and Tucker Clark Primary School have been named the 2024 William Marcus Natta Memorial Scholarship Fund recipients. The award ceremony took place on June 18th, recognizing these students for their academic achievements, financial need, character, and community involvement. In the presentation of the awards, it was explained that for 2024, 18 students applied for the scholarship. While academic performance is a criterion, the scholarship also emphasizes financial need, quality of character, and community involvement. Before announcing the 2024 NATA Scholars, the scholarship committee acknowledged the other 14 recipients. Each received tokens of appreciation, including the IT Matters Life Skills Handbook by Elziva Cuffey, encouraging them to continue striving for excellence. The 14 acknowledged applicants are Atalja Liebert, Ajanique Jacobs, Anel Archibald, Kyle Watley, Calvin Brown, Dana J. Williams, Hazani Hull, Jamera Williams, Jasania Jarvis, Jeronique Lewis, Laquani Brooks, Satis John, Savannah Francis, and Tokoidra Huggins. The scholarship committee proudly announced the 4 recipients who exemplified the qualities of a NATA scholar. Each scholar received a trophy, a $200 gift certificate redeemable at Schools Apex Cooperative, a $200 gift certificate redeemable at Law's Bookstore, and a $100 award towards establishing a savings account at the First Federal Credit Union. The First Federal Credit Union also matched the $100 gift, enabling the scholar to start their savings account with $200. 11-year-old grade 6 student at the Irishtown Primary School, Tikailia Henry, has been recognized for her excellent behavior and hard work. She dreams of becoming a medical doctor to help others overcome illnesses. Tikailia is also a dancer and a KAC Kids Dance Group member. Tashinia Thomas, also 11 and an Irishtown Primary School student, enjoys learning new things. Despite living at the St. Christopher Children's Home and missing her mother, she strives to make the most of her situation. She plans to use the scholarship to buy more books and join after-school programs. Caliana Rollins, a 12-year-old from the Chuck Clark Primary School, lives in a single-parent household with her younger sister. She has learned to be grateful and understanding of her mother's struggles. Caliana aspires to study law at university. Jamari Anton, a Newtown United under-13 football team player, is in grade 6 and enjoys mathematics. A year ago, his family was evicted from their home and they now live with his grandfather. At 11 years old, Jamari is dedicated to contributing financially to his family. Tricia King, a marine biologist and MP manager, delivered the keynote address. Roger Woodley, the Deputy Chief Education Officer in the Ministry of Education, also gave brief remarks to the students. The William Marcus Natta Memorial Scholarship Fund, established in 2010, continues to support and encourage students through its annual scholarship awards. The Federal Parliament of St. Kitts and Nevis successfully passed the Anti-Smuggling of Migrants Bill 2024 on Friday, June 14th. The legislation, led by Attorney General the Honorable Garth Wilkin, addresses the issue of migrant smuggling within the Federation's territorial waters. The bill aims to deter the smuggling of migrants into St. Kitts and Nevis and aligns with the national laws with the International Protocol Against the Smuggling of Migrants by Land, Sea and Air, supplementing the United Nations Convention Against Transnational Organized Crime. Attorney General Wilkin noted an increase in smuggling incidents over the past 5 years, particularly involving Haitian nationals and Cameroonians. These individuals often face dangerous conditions during their journeys and subsequent detention.
What has made this issue urgent for St. Kitts and Nevis is that we have had 4 incidents in less than a year where Haitians were smuggled out of Dominica by Dominican national captains and ended up on our shores, either through boat collapse or boat malfunction and rescue operations. Also, Cameroonians were smuggled out of Antigua by an Antiguan captain in an unsafe vessel, many of whom died, and the rest of whom were very distraught when they were rescued by our Coast Guard and detained in St. Kitts.
AG Wilkin explained that existing legislation was inadequate to address these challenges, prompting action. In September 2023, an emergency meeting of the OECS Legal Affairs Committee was held to foster regional cooperation and develop a model law to combat migrant smuggling. The meeting underscored the shared experiences of OECS territories and the need for harmonized anti-smuggling legislation.
I propose the following principles be adopted in each member state, and all were agreed. 1. OECS member states should enact and enforce stricter anti-smuggling laws that not only penalize those directly involved in smuggling, but also address the broader network of individuals and organizations supporting these illegal activities. Harsher penalties should be imposed on boat captains and individuals involved in human smuggling, including fines, imprisonment, and confiscation of assets gained through these illicit activities. Member states should embrace collaboration among law enforcement agencies to share intelligence, coordinate operations, and apprehend and prosecute boat captain gangs involved in human smuggling. Public awareness campaigns should be launched to educate individuals about the risks and consequences of human smuggling. This will empower potential victims to make informed decisions and discourage them from engaging with such smugglers. And the last one, adequate support and services should be provided to individuals who have been smuggled, including access to legal assistance, counseling, and protection from retribution.
The Anti-Smuggling of Migrants Bill 2024 introduces measures to prevent and combat the smuggling of migrants, protect their rights, and promote international cooperation. The legislation establishes the Agency for the Prevention and Countering of the Smuggling of Migrants, which will coordinate policy formulation, monitor immigration patterns, and advise the government on related issues. The bill also sets out penalties for those involved in smuggling activities to ensure justice and deterrence.
We cannot be considered one of the territories that wishes to facilitate or be a transshipment point for anyone, let alone our brothers and sisters in Africa, given our history, Madam Speaker. And bills like this send a message to the bad people who take money to take advantage of vulnerable people that it will not be tolerated here.
In a related effort, the federal parliament also passed the Immigration Amendment Bill 2024. This legislation, also led by Attorney General Wilkin, aims to deter the shielding, harboring, or transportation of smuggled migrants. Over the past 5 years, St. Kitts and Nevis has seen an increase in incidents involving smuggled migrants, often intercepted in dangerous conditions. The increase highlighted the need to review and strengthen the country's immigration laws to deter and prosecute those involved in these illegal activities effectively.
The only other thing that this bill does, it is that it gives certain power to the chief immigration officer that he or she, that post, did not have before. So there's an amendment to section 27, which reads now, as proposed in the bill, in the exercise of his or her functions under this act, an immigration officer shall act in accordance with the directions and instructions of the chief immigration officer. What people may not remember is that the immigration office used to be within the police force. Then there was a separation and immigration became independent. This is an amendment to the act which was not done during that process, which we're trying to fix. And the other one is an additional section 27A, which says, further to the provisions of section 26, the chief immigration officer shall be responsible for the investigation, arrest, and charging of persons who commit offenses under this act. And in exercise of his or her powers pursuant to subsection 1, the chief immigration officer may consult and collaborate with the commissioner of police in such manner as the chief immigration officer may deem fit.
The Immigration Amendment Bill 2024 proposes increases in fines and imprisonment terms for offenses related to smuggling of migrants. For concealment offenses, penalties have been raised from a fine not exceeding $50,000 and a maximum imprisonment term of 3 years to a fine not exceeding $100,000 and a maximum imprisonment term of 5 years. For transportation offenses, penalties have increased from a fine not exceeding $100,000 and a maximum imprisonment term of 5 years to a fine not exceeding $200,000 and a maximum imprisonment term of 7 years. The bill also defines financial or other material benefit as any type of financial or non-financial inducement, payment, bribe, reward, advantage, privilege, or service, including sexual or other services. This aims to close loopholes and ensure comprehensive prosecution of those benefiting from smuggling activities. The bill underwent consultation with critical stakeholders, including the Director of Public Prosecutions, Comptroller of Customs, Chief Immigration Officer, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of National Security, Commissioner of Police, White Collar Crime Unit, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. First tabled on February 22nd, 2024, the passage of these bills marks progress in the Federation's efforts to combat human smuggling and uphold the rule of law.
In regional news,
U.S. Virgin Islands official resigns amid corruption investigation. Russian warships depart from Cuba after a 5-day visit. Those reports and more from Carib Update.
Director of the Office of Management and Budget in the U.S. Virgin Islands, Jennifer O'Neill, has resigned amid a series of corruption investigations by federal authorities. Governor Albert Bryan, who confirmed her resignation during a press conference on Monday, had requested the resignations of O'Neill and Police Commissioner Ray Martinez due to an ongoing federal investigation that suggests corrupt practices were involved in contracts awarded to cybersecurity and surveillance company Mon Ethos Pro Support, which is owned by convicted felon David Whitaker. There were reports that Martinez had also resigned, but Bryan said he did not receive it up to the time of the media briefing. The federal investigations have already resulted in at least one public official and his wife being indicted. The charges were laid after a 2-year investigation. O'Neill and Martinez have had their cell phones seized as part of the investigation. Attorney General Gordon Rhea, who also spoke at the press conference, said that O'Neill and Martinez have not been officially charged in connection with the investigation and expressed his commitment to the investigation. Governor Albert Bryan said recent corruption probes have the potential to ruin public trust cultivated over the last 7 years. The governor also announced that his administration is taking proactive steps to strengthen ethical governance. To further support law enforcement efforts, Bryan has committed an additional one-time allotment of US $1 million to aid the development of the white-collar crime unit within the Department of Justice. Back in the U.S. Virgin Islands, a 72-year-old woman has been arrested on fraud charges for impersonating her deceased mother and forging her signature. According to the Virgin Islands Police, on December 3, 2021, the Economic Crimes Unit initiated an investigation into an obtaining money by false pretense complaint. It was discovered that Lydia Robles impersonated her deceased mother and forged her signature on a contract of sale. This act allowed her to receive $42,000 from the complainant for a property located in Williams Delight, despite not owning the property. The complainant also invested $70,000 in renovations on the home before realizing the property was not legally Robles's. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of National Security in Jamaica, Dr. Horace Chang, has reiterated the government's commitment to strengthen the country's border security. Speaking at the Overseas Security Advisory Council Aviation Security Conference on Monday, the minister said the government remains vigilant and determined to continue to support initiatives that will improve and protect border security. He said that this is being done through policies, legislations, and by equipping the ministries, departments, and agencies with the necessary resources for maximum impact, particularly those involved in direct security operations. Chang also pointed out that security remains a priority of the government's policy development, noting that the administration has invested significantly in bolstering the country's security apparatus. Lawyers for former Premier of the British Virgin Islands, Andrew Foy, are asking a federal court to sentence him to 10 years in prison for the role he played in a plot to smuggle huge quantities of cocaine through Tortola to the mainland United States. Earlier this month, his attorney, Theresa Van Vliet, filed a motion asking that the date for his sentencing be postponed from June 25 to August 5, citing a scheduling conflict as the reason for the postponement. Foy, 53, was convicted of cocaine smuggling and money laundering charges on February 8 this year. Foy faces the possibility of life in prison and a US $10 million fine. But in seeking the 10-year jail term, his lawyers are claiming that the former premier had only a minor role in the plot and had no knowledge of a side deal between Maynard and government agents posing as drug runners and did not actually import any cocaine. They also claimed he never actually had interactions with Lebanese Hezbollah operatives. Prosecutors had said Pickering Maynard and her son had been falsely told they were dealing with the Sinaloa drug cartel and Lebanese terrorists in the deal. Foy's attorneys argued no such terrorists were involved with Foy. A fleet of Russian warships left the port of Havana late Monday after a 5-day visit to Cuba following planned military drills. Locals waved Russian flags as the Russian vessels, which included a nuclear-powered submarine and a frigate, left on Monday. The U.S. said it did not see the visit as a threat, but added that it was monitoring the vessels closely. Following the fleet's arrival, the U.S. docked a submarine, the USS Helena, at its Guantanamo Bay naval base in Cuba on Thursday. It is unclear what the fleet's next destination is or where it will dock next in the Caribbean, although U.S. officials said days ago that the vessels could possibly also stop in Venezuela. And in a related story, the Canadian Liberal government has been criticized by opposition legislators for sending a patrol ship to Havana while Russian vessels were there. In response, the Justin Trudeau administration on Monday said the visit was meant to send a message of deterrence to Moscow. The Canadian Naval Patrol ship sailed into the harbor early on Friday, 2 days after the arrival of a Russian nuclear-powered submarine and a frigate. Defense Minister Bill Blair said the deployment sends a very clear message that Canada has a capable and deployable military and will not hesitate to do what is required to protect its national interests. Both the U.S. and Cuba say the Russian warships pose no threat to the region. Venezuela's opposition coalition says 4 activists from 2 of its political parties have been detained in recent days as tensions rise ahead of a July presidential contest. The coalition claims the four were security forces who have accused them of instigating hate and of conspiracy. Opposition presidential candidate Edmundo Gonzalez, during a live broadcast on social media, denounced what he described as this new attack by the government. The detentions of the four activists and a journalist, Louis Lopez, come amid favorable polling for Gonzalez, who was tapped as the opposition's candidate after Venezuela's top court upheld a ban on holding public office for its primary winner, Maria Corina Machado. President Nicolas Maduro, who is seeking a third term, was favored by around 30% in a recent poll, compared to Gonzalez's support of 50%. St. Lucia is joining at least 2 other CARICOM countries in launching a prepaid electricity project in August, allowing consumers to top up their electricity by telephone. Equity, Social Justice and Empowerment Minister Joachim Henry said that the St. Lucia Electricity Services Limited, LUCILEC, will launch the pilot project and that persons will be able to receive electricity in a prepaid mode. He said many people were unable to afford the postpaid modality. Dominica allows consumers to purchase power for their prepaid meters via telephone at their convenience. The system also operates in other countries, including Jamaica. Like prepaid telephone service, consumers may buy credit and top up as required.
We now bring you these international reports.
Extreme weather is affecting different parts of the globe, but in the US in particular, more than 70 million people, that's 1 in 5 Americans, are under heat alerts this week. Extreme temperatures reaching as high as 105 degrees Fahrenheit in some areas. Forecasters are warning that the early summer heat wave could be the longest in decades. An approaching heat dome threatens to bring record-setting temperatures across the Midwest and Northeast for up to a week. Meanwhile, in California, wildfires near Los Angeles continue to burn out of control as firefighters struggle to contain the flames. And in the state of New Mexico, wildfires have been burning through 20,000 acres, impacting at least 500 structures and forcing thousands to evacuate. Let's speak to Yasmin Ansari. And Yasmin is a former Vice Mayor of Phoenix, Arizona, and the former UN Climate Advisor. Hello, welcome to the programme. Arizona, of course, well-known desert area. I wonder if we could first start off with a heat dome. What do we mean by that?
The heat dome discusses what is happening in the atmosphere, whereas the impact on the ground is talking about a heat wave. As you mentioned, right now in the United States, we are seeing heat emergencies being declared across the United States, in particular in the Northeast, as the heat index is hitting triple digits. Here in Arizona, we are very much used to extreme heat, but in many of these places in the United States where there's also the humidity aspect, many are feeling very challenging times. And so we're seeing leaders begin to declare those emergencies and acting as such.
So once declared as an emergency, what happens next?
Well, so it's interesting. In every city, every state is handling the situation differently. At this point in time, the federal government in the United States, FEMA, which is the agency that deals with natural disasters, has not officially declared extreme heat a natural disaster. There is an ongoing call that many of our elected officials, labor unions, organizations are calling on FEMA to do so. That would help unlock federal resources. However, every jurisdiction is handling it differently. Here in Phoenix, again, we work every year to prepare for extreme heat because we see hundreds of deaths every single summer as a result of extreme heat. And so we have an Office of Heat Response. We open cooling centers across the city. This year, we are opening several overnight heat respite centers to make sure people have a place to go. I know cities across the Northeast are doing the same right now. Things are being canceled. Cooling centers are being opened. But there's a lot of proactive planning that many places in the United States and across the world, frankly, are going to have to start doing as we see the impacts of climate change and worsening heat waves moving forward.
And often after a heat wave, you have the additional problem of once that weather system breaks down, you get rain, don't you? And it's falling onto hard, baked ground, and you then get the risk of flooding.
Yes, I mean, there are so many consequences that come from all of the impacts of climate change, extreme heat included. one of the most severe impacts, and one of the things that we have to think about is places in the country and the world that maybe populations don't have access to air conditioning. Here in Phoenix, we often see, a lot of people have air conditioning here, but some of our most vulnerable populations are impacted. And we're seeing HVAC systems that need to be replaced. We're seeing people who don't want to pay, are worried about their rent and utility bills, and so may not turn on their AC and then suffer an illness. So not only do you see floods and all of the impacts related to the weather following heat, there's also the impacts and the aftermath to our populations, and especially the most vulnerable.
And what about wildlife? Because, yes, I know Arizona obviously is, like we said, a desert, arid area, but this extreme heat must affect the wildlife as well. Is there something that those working in that sector do to prepare, just as you've described?
That is a great question. I mean, every sector has to be prepared. Our farming communities are actively preparing. In Arizona, water security is something we worry very closely about. We have to manage our water future. We worry about water conservation. And so drought is something that we are constantly working on, and in particular around the extreme heat, making sure that our wildlife is being taken care of. So it's a multifaceted problem. I think the most urgent threat we face is climate change, and all sectors of government, all sectors of society need to be working towards solutions for this issue, because it's not going away. There are many climate impacts that are already locked in and will continue to get worse as years progress.
Russian President Vladimir Putin touched down in North Korea late Tuesday and was warmly embraced by leader Kim Jong-un on the tarmac. Putin's welcome didn't end there. State media footage showed his portraits and Russian flags across Pyongyang, with buildings lit with messages welcoming him to the North Korean capital, where he last visited 24 years ago. The Russian president's trip looks set to reshape decades of Russia-North Korea relations. It comes when both countries face international isolation, and analyst Jenny Town, senior fellow at Washington, D.C.'s Stimson Center, says it should raise alarms about how much Moscow's willing to help the reclusive nuclear-armed state.
They have a common problem, and that is sanctions. And Putin has really been leading what he considers and what he deems the war on the West, and trying to create a multipolar system, and sort of upend or create an alternative to a US-led world order.
North Korea stands to gain a lot from this relationship. In the short term, more trade with Russia could cement agricultural cooperation or Russia's willingness to receive North Korean workers again, says Town. But militarily as well, it's a boon for Pyongyang.
Russia is the first country, basically since the collapse of the Soviet Union, that's been willing to offer North Korea, military cooperation. And so this does give North Korea opportunities to upgrade their hardware in their conventional side, as well as their military reconnaissance satellites and their space programs, which Russia has said openly that they'd be willing to do.
And Washington is watching. Pentagon spokesperson Major General Pat Ryder on Tuesday voiced U.S. worries over Moscow's overtures to Pyongyang.
The deepening cooperation between Russia and the DPRK is something that should be of concern, especially to anyone that's interested in maintaining peace and stability on the Korean peninsula.
Ryder also noted that North Korea has been selling arms to Russia. The North's missile and nuclear programs are banned by UN Security Council resolutions. Putin praised North Korea ahead of his arrival for resisting what he said was US economic pressure, blackmail, and threats.
An elaborate ceremony has been taking place in Pyongyang's main square to welcome the Russian President Vladimir Putin to North Korea. Pictures on state media showed ranks of soldiers and huge crowds lining the streets. It's Mr. Putin's first trip to North Korea in more than 2 decades.
Well, many other global powers are keeping an eye on this visit, including another close ally of Russia, China. Well, joining me now is our China correspondent, Laura Bicker, who's following developments from Beijing. And Laura, of course, China is a close ally not only of Russia, but also of North Korea. How will it be viewing this visit?
Well, I think one of the first things to say, Catherine, is at this stage, I would view North Korea and Russia as fast friends, but not firm friends. This is not a relationship that either side have prioritised in the past. They're prioritising it now because they need one another, but they actually need China more. And they will not want to do anything, make any agreements that may annoy President Xi. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, China will look at these two leaders as global pariahs, and they will know that that is an image that they do not want to show both the West, Europe, and the US. So when it comes to this kind of alliance, they will be careful about how they align themselves with those two. China wants to be a global leader. It does not want to be a global pariah. And it wants the world to see it as such. So that's one of the reasons why we think when President Putin came here to Beijing, that we hear, or there have been reports that Beijing officials told President Putin not to fly straight from here in Beijing to Pyongyang, but to go on a different date. They did not like the optics of those three together. Now, why will that limit the relationship between North Korea and Russia? Well, when it comes to the amount of technology that Russia may give North Korea, it might make Mr. Putin think again. First of all, he might not want to give away his secrets to North Korea, who might sell it to another country. Second of all, China does not like it when North Korea has the kind of testing that we saw back in 2017, that time of fire and fury, when North Korea was testing on a regular basis. That brings US assets to the region, US aircraft carriers, and it brings alliances in the region. Already we've seen in the last year, South Korea and Japan sign a trilateral agreement with the United States, something thought we would never see in this region. These two from Tokyo and Seoul have historical, bitter grievances, but they came together because they were worried about a rising Pyongyang, the weapons testing, and a rising China. China does not want these alliances to exist without them in it. And actually, while we're sitting here, there are Chinese officials in Seoul discussing their own bilateral relationship, another sign that China may want to distance itself from Pyongyang and what's going on in Pyongyang currently.
And Laura, following his visit from North Korea, President Putin is expected to go to Vietnam. How do you think China, the US as well, would view Russia's interest in the wider region?
I think actually both will be a bit wary about Russia's view of the wider region and going to both North Korea and Vietnam. And I think certainly the US, I mean, I was there when Joe Biden was in Vietnam signing agreements with Vietnam to elevate their partnership to the same level of China's. And I think there's already that rivalry between China and US in the region. I don't think either Beijing or Washington will want a third party to walk into it. But I think from a strategic point of view, the United States is most concerned and certainly has reiterated a number of times that over their concern about the weapons heading to Russia and China's support for Russia's war in Ukraine. What they do not want to see is China tacitly supporting Russia in any way that might help Russia on the battlefield. And that is putting pressure on Beijing a bit, because already they're talking about further sanctions and China is very vulnerable to sanctions. So they do not want any more issues that may cause problems with their economy. So I think when it comes to Russia's involvement in this region, both Washington, both Beijing are slightly concerned. But certainly China will not want any more attention on its relationship with Russia.
Soldiers practice their ceremonial march in front of Hanoi's monument to the revolutionary martyrs, those who died in the American War. Last-minute rehearsals before the arrival of Russia's President Vladimir Putin. For many Vietnamese, the relationship with the Soviet Union, now Russia, is more than just diplomatic ties. Professor Nguyen lived and taught in Russia for 20 years. but it was his time as a young soldier on the front line, fighting against America with Soviet weapons, that cemented the bond.
In Vietnam, we say, one piece of food when hungry equals a box of food when full. We were hungry, dying, and in a very difficult situation. Russia helped us with food and ammunition. Thanks to that, we stood firm on the battlefield and held our ancestral lands.
The military ties are still strong. Vietnam uses Russian-made weapons systems, but recently supplies have been harder to get because of the war in Ukraine. A new generation of soldiers is looking to diversify. For a vibrant Southeast Asian economy, a strong relationship with Russia may seem strange, but as it struggles to counter the influence of China and the US, modern Vietnam could find Putin a useful ally.
I quite like Russian President Putin. I hope this visit will increase solidarity, cooperation and friendship between Russia and Vietnam.
I feel like this is an honor for Vietnam and Russia too, because I think with this visit, Russia will expand the cooperative relationship with Vietnam and strengthen the economic and diplomatic development of our country.
For a state visit, this one is going to be relatively short. It's thought that Russia's president will only be here for about 24 hours. But the deep ties between Russia and Vietnam will ensure he gets a warm welcome, and that's relatively rare for Vladimir Putin when he travels overseas. Tony Cheng, Al Jazeera, Hanoi.
You were listening to the Midday News on WINNFM 98.9. The headlines:
4 students receive 2024 Marcus Natta Memorial Scholarship Award. Anti-smuggling of migrants and immigration bills 2024 addresses issues of migrant smuggling. U.S. Virgin Islands official resigns amid corruption investigation. Russian warships depart from Cuba after a 5-day visit. Internationally, Putin is upgrading ties with North Korea.
Thank you for listening.
The WINNFM News was brought to you by Kai Brewery, SL Hoxford & Company Limited, Rams Trading, The Cable, and TDC.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
When it comes to the important things in life, your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider, only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Delisle Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured. Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Bastille in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is WIN FM.
Afternoon. Welcome back for the second half of today's presentation of Voices. I want to thank all those who joined us this morning and those who, we had to cut off because we were getting up to news time. Give it a chance, give us a shout back, and let's continue the dialogue. We do so and much more after we give credit to our sponsors, and we'll be back.
Attention, savvy shoppers. It's that time of year again to upgrade your home and feed your family with Hortford's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store. For over 25 years, we've been making dreams come true by offering cashback coupons for free groceries on all hire purchases. That's right, we've given away over $1 million worth of groceries to our loyal customers. And this year, it's your time to cash in on the savings. Whether you're in the market for a new sofa, a sleek kitchen upgrade, or a cozy bedroom set, Hortford's and Ashley Furniture Home Store have everything you need to turn your house into a home. And when you make a higher purchase with us, you'll receive cashback coupons redeemable for free groceries. Yes, so why wait? Visit Hortford's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store today and take advantage of this incredible offer. Upgrade your home, feed your family, and save big with cashback coupons for free groceries. Only at Hortford's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store.
Hey everybody, welcome back again for the second half of today's presentation of Voices. It's 12:43 and the lines are open for those who want to engage in what we discussed earlier this morning or introduce any new topic. Today is the 19th of June in the U.S. They are celebrating Juneteenth. My early focus was on the 18th of June, which was yesterday, where we should have been celebrating 43 years of OECS formation. We have a caller, and we go through the phone lines. With a caller, you'll have on Voices.
Socrates, good afternoon.
I was anticipating the call. Thanks for joining us.
Good afternoon to all the listeners. You see, I'll give one little thing. You and the listeners. WIN FM, you can walk out. If you don't have area, they can say him, you could pull the area and walk around with them. But obeying the dinner, you have to be stationary.
The reception is poor.
Yeah, you have to be stationary.
Okay.
So, the days of when they listen to WIN FM, when we began 24th, when we could walk. So let me let you know that we couldn't walk one time, right?
Okay.
Pick up one pinch nerve. We used to have to eat on the belly.
Wow.
And just lie down. Just lie down on my back. So we could have listened to everything. So it so happened that me back on my foot now.
Well, thanks for your movement.
me back on my foot now.
Okay.
So now that me back on my foot,
Mm-hmm.
me out the garden. So me can't be stationary with FM.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're up on the boats.
Yeah. So what me say, now that me, soon as me come to the house,
Mm-hmm.
me hear Africa.
Yep.
Me hear Big Up Greg. and say something catchy still, then me hear Cousin Henry come on, big up Africa, and say something still catchy.
Okay, let's hear your take on all that.
You understand what I say?
Mm-hmm.
And shake my head. So, may I tell you this, but may I go back that you will get the line of argument properly. You see, me like to structure out. Me like to structure out things that may say.
Mm-hmm.
That I know everybody on the same level. Right? So when we talk, grassroots and I'll pick up.
Okay.
All right?
I hear you. Let's hear you.
Yes, right. Okay. That you will understand exactly what we're saying. We recognize that sometimes we have something. When the plastic and then say, I would say, when I take the date like our Henry take the date. And then because the Henry come after, I think, you remember that?
And she really in?
You remember that?
Yes.
Right. That me, no. I want that confusion. You remember that?
Yeah. But you lead it up to your point.
And then we stop at that, right?
Mm-hmm.
We stop at that and go further. Okay. You left some people confused. Like, no. So let me think about it. You remember when Greg said something for the Bible? But remember, you now read to me. You got certain things that the Bible not allow one to do. All right? Now you read it too.
Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
Okay. Right. But no, Greg write the Bible. So even Greg run and touch on. He get leaked. But he not write the Bible. He can take the same context. He can put on different interpretations there. Right? But that's not the point. Okay. Cousin Henry come one day and he reach out and he even touch Greg's marriage and divorce. You remember that?
No, I missed that one.
You missed that one there?
It wasn't me.
Yeah, you.
Oh, yes. Okay, here's one. Okay. The discussion with the divorce came earlier. I think it was during morning tea. And I was asked about it. So later on, yes, I recall the discussion now, yes.
Yes. Come on, Socrates. Let's tell you something. We can recite before something, you know.
No, I got you. Thanks for reminding me. I got you. But the initial issue with his divorce, I was never part of that. So that is why I was saying no.
Then Greg come and defend the marriage. But Greg say he never divorced nobody yet.
I recall that.
Remember all that?
I recall that, yes.
Exactly. No. There are many gods, but only one true God. The true and living God don't know God of confusion. That doesn't sound like confusion to you?
Yeah, well, you have different points of view, so you have different interpretation of different context of the Bible. So I just listen because I'm not the expert.
Yeah, but the point is what may say, when the true and living God send you on a mission, send you with confusion. You get what I say? The true and living. The other gods, them, we got confusion of them, but not the true and living one.
Okay.
Okay, right. So here you know, Africa make one point just now with rebellious woman. Okay, right?
You're correct. You go ahead.
Okay.
Correct.
Yes. God sent Jeremiah, known as the Jeremiah, the keeping prophet. God sent Jeremiah out, knowing that he not getting a result. Because all the people are rebellious. You get me? But God still sent him.
Yep.
You get me?
Yep.
Exactly. Just to prove to he that he is the living God and he know all things. You get that?
I'm following your train of thought, yes.
See, Cousin Henry come now And what Cousin Henry is supposed to do just now? I for correct Africa. You get me? Because remember, Africa mission, I for promote woman. But this is woman now that he picked from the Bible. That's a rebellious woman. And that's the way you went with society. And that's the kind of promotion you woman rebellious. You get the Bible, my friend?
Well, Sister Henry delved deeper into the thing with Jeremiah.
Cousin Henry is supposed to come and correct Africa. It's actually gonna deeper because Africa line of argument. He picked the line of argument. But he put one different interpretation to the line of argument. For sure that woman strong. Now the way you get?
Yep, she did.
Yeah, no, but Henry come now and show now that the woman them rebellious. And because of their rebelliousness and sin, so God now punish them. You get the point? You see this two different line of argument?
That's correct.
Exactly. So this is and so Africa do all the time. He run the Bible. He run the Bible. Pick negative things out of the Bible and come and promote them and then condemn the Bible afterwards. And say, oh, the Bible needs fixing and the Bible needs fixing. We cannot need fixing. No, this is my line of work. To win soul for Christ. Now, if Africa understand the Bible, you need to go around. You got some good preachers around saying it. Calvin Hazel, that I want me big. That I want big. Maybe
Creation.
Calvin Hazel. Right? You got good preachers crossing it. Instead of come, not understand what you read, come and do damage. You see, he come and do the damage. He come and do the damage. He come and do damage. Then he will go back time to time and say, he has monopoly on the Bible, but you don't do the damage. Come and ask some question. No, come and do no damage. Come and ask. You can even call for more books. But the book that you got in your hand, you don't understand the book in your hand. If you bring the rest books, them, how you going to compare them? Because you don't understand the one in your hand. So if you bring the rest on them and read them, which one are go right and which one are go wrong and which one are go canon, you know you're not going to. Socrates,
yes, sir.
I don't mind a little bit and maybe analyze something for you that me hear. Because me tell Jamster Friday, the amount of wrong things me hear on this radio station.
I heard you guys.
Yes.
I heard you.
Yes. You get me? I mean, I'm in love with Jamster to Greg because me shout to money and me choke something for Greg come and answer. And as soon as Greg come and Jamster cut it off. And me know, if I'm cousin Henry come 1 million times, Jamster will never cut it off and that made discrimination. And Jamster good afternoon. I'm not there the control.
Nah,
okay,
he's gone, but he would hear you. We have Trent at the controls at the moment. Trent is back.
Yes. So, yeah. So the truth about it. Remember, me supposed to come and tell you about the face. Remember, the main conversation last was the face of the selling the face, the ambassador, the
yes.
man who carry single coat. Remember that means supposed to go.
Yeah.
Right. After me, this was something between Cousin Henry and you see Cousin Henry can correct Africa. Because
anyway, Jamster said to let him that he's here and he's listening. He's not in the studio, but he's here. He said, "Tell Isaiah, I hope I love him too."
No, me love Jamster. See what the final mission is. You could ask me family. You could ask me family and them.
Okay.
Me pan a mission here. Me no got no friend. Me no got no family. Me no got. Well, my mother and my father done dead. Me got children and grandchildren. Me no got children and grandchildren. Me stand for truth and justice and right.
Okay.
Because me no got no friend. Me no got no friend.
When it comes to the Bible, I understand you.
To equal rights, truth. Me no got no friend. At the end of the day, you see, I got me for face and not friends. You get that?
Okay, got you covered.
Okay then.
Much appreciated. Jamster, you're listening, and you see you can't diss your math teacher, so he thought you just call him up because. Anyway, somehow, this is a platform for religious debates. I am not versed in the Bible, and I did speak to a certain pastor, asked him to come on, but I guess the time clashes with his other duties. But we'd like to get somebody from the clergy at one point. Anyway, let's go to the phone lines. They call you live on Voices.
Socrates.
Good afternoon
Yes.
to you, sir. How are you doing?
Good afternoon.
Mhm.
All right, greetings in Jesus' name once more again. Now, Socrates,
Mm-hmm.
I would like to touch on a few things quickly. Number one, you see, when a person doesn't have enough time to say something, that person cannot say everything, and people will take that person out of context. And I'm talking about me in particular. Now, when I talk about women religious role in the church, I'm speaking about in a church service. Okay? I'm talking about when the church gathered together in a church service. She's not supposed to preach. She's not supposed to be an elder, leader, them sort of stuff in a church service. That is not to say outside of a church service a woman cannot preach. A woman can be preaching outside into a crowd. She can be preaching on the radio. In the Bible, you had women.
What's the difference? What's the difference?
Well,
Isn't preaching?
the difference is.
Isn't the church where two or three assemble in God's name?
Yeah, but the difference is that the Bible says where a church service is concerned, she ought not to be doing those things in a church service. And like I said, Paul gave the reasons why from the Bible.
You're talking about in a physical building? Is that what you're saying?
No, he's saying to do not with a physical. Wherever the church, that is the people, are gathered for church.
Right, because you say outside the church, she can.
Outside the church service. Outside the church service. A woman might go and talk to people in general. It's not a church service. A woman might go and talk to a crowd. Maybe a crowd down the market. Maybe a crowd down the bus terminal. Maybe a crowd.
Okay.
Maybe she see friends and she talk to she friends. I mean, that's not part of a church service. Okay? Outside of a church service, and I said church service, she is allowed to do these things.
Okay.
Outside of a church service. This ain't got nothing to do in a building.
Okay, got you.
A church service could be under a tree. But outside of a church service, she can do these things. But not inside a church service.
Got your point. Let's hear.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to clear up that.
Okay.
No,
Go ahead.
I would like to say, I would like to correct Mr. Ronsa. Mr. Ronsa, good detail. It wasn't really Miss Henry who spoke about the divorce that I got. It was culture, and culture always doing that, as though I have done something wrong. Trying to give the impression that I have done something wrong when I have not done anything wrong. Okay? Like I said, I've never divorced anybody. So I've not done anything wrong. And not only that, but a Christian can divorce another Christian on the grounds of sexual immorality. Okay? So
we read between the lines.
Sexual immorality. Hello?
So we read between the lines.
Yes, right. So on the grounds of sexual immorality, a Christian can divorce another Christian, but I have not committed any sexual immorality to get a divorce or anything like that, and it was not on the grounds of sexual immorality.
And I don't think people's personal lives and such issues should be brought up for that.
Culture, this any person culture love to bring it up on radio programs, and radio programs love to entertain it, I guess, because it is me.
I don't like to get into personalities. I really don't like that at all.
Yeah, to try to put me in a bad light that I did something wrong. Yeah, culture love to do that, and the radio programs love to entertain him with it, because they want something on me. So I don't want to go too much in that. That's really a personal thing.
Much appreciated.
Jeremiah 44 is what Africa was talking about.
If we have a next call on the line, right? If you have a next call on the line, I'm going to cut you. Until then, because people say other people talk all the time. If there are calls coming in, then. Until, you go ahead.
No problem. Cookie said Jeremiah 44 was the chapter that Africa was dealing with, and me saying we correct him. I'm going to kind of not because I want to speak to the free movement and markets and taxes and so.
I would appreciate that. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay, that was our first call for the second half. And sorry, our second caller for the second half of the program. And we continue the biblical debates and other social issues. We have a next caller. Good day, caller, 11 Voices. Good day, caller, you're live on Voices.
Good day, sir. How are you?
I'm okay. Yourself?
I'm wonderful. 1 Timothy 2:12 said, "Let not a woman usurp authority over the church, over the men, whether to teach or such like. If they have anything, let them ask their silent, their husband in silent at home." The Bible did speak about women usurping authority over the men. If you have a congregation or service where you have a women meeting or such like our women's service, then they can teach and they can preach to each other. But as long as there is men, they are not supposed to usurp authority as long as the Bible, as according to the Bible. Now, you may ask what is usurping authority, but you are in control of the radio station program right now, so you are usurping authority. And the Bible is pretty clear. It's not because that's to say that woman must be subjected, because the Bible says woman must be subjected to their husband. But it's not to say that a woman cannot teach. But when she teach, she must teach to woman or to ladies. And the brother is right. The scripture is there. Why are we want to turn the scripture to suit ourselves? It's just like going back to the church. And it's just like saying what Jesus Christ said. One cannot be saved unless he been baptized. And somebody asked him, so what if you didn't get a chance to baptize? Well, I'm sorry for you, because the Bible said, for one to be saved, you must be baptized to complete it. That is why the eunuch, when the eunuch was in the road, the eunuch said, here is water. What does hinder me from baptized? It's like saying, you're going to run down the road and come back to me, and I give you $1,000. You run down the road and you say, king, you expect to get $1,000?
You've not returned.
Okay. Have a nice day. Take care.
No, I have a question for you, if you can indulge me. What happened to the souls who passed before Christ?
The souls before Christ has gone, and they would be judged according to their
But they were not baptized?
Of their time of judgment.
They were not baptized?
Because remember, when Christ was on the cross, he said, it is finished. Man redemption has been paid. Blotting out the ordinances of the unwritten, which was contrary to us, because men themselves binded laws on us, which they did not keep. A new commandment I give unto you, not as the world giveth. He said he didn't come to destroy it, but he came to fulfill it. It is just like the church. There was no church before Jesus Christ. Christ came. Yes, you have the Jews who were doing what they want, and the Gentiles who were doing what they want. Then Jesus Christ came, and Jesus Christ said to Peter, Simon Peter, who do you say that I am? First he asked him, who do men say that I am? He said, some say you have Paul, some say you have Stephen, some say you have this. And then he turned to him and he said, now who do you say that I am? He said, you are Christ. And he turned to Peter and said, Peter, flesh and blood could not reveal this unto you, but my Father which are in heaven. And upon that rock, you know what was the rock? The rock was the confession that Peter made, that you are the Son of the living Christ. He said, I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. Here is where the church started.
Have you ever concerned yourself with the question about the Apocryphas?
No.
Interesting. Because there are many tomes in the Bible that were taken out. Many modified. They came in version, something watered down. So we're taking this thing in its totality as sacrosanct. This is the word of the God. But there are books missing from the Bible.
The King James is watered down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And I would agree with you. I would say yes. But don't you think that the King James were watered down for the understanding of man? Because I might say to somebody...
So God didn't imbue man with understanding? King James had to interpret for us? Is that what you said?
But he also said, one hear without a preacher? And how could one preach without
King James was not a preacher.
What you said?
King James were not a preacher. They were preachers. Man has been imbued with knowledge by God according to the same Bible.
God gives us the knowledge and understanding. Because there was one reading, I think it was the eunuch reading, and they said, go down there, you're going to find a man reading, and he ain't understanding what he's reading. Some of us read and we don't understand what we are reading. Some of us read and we don't have a clue what we are reading because our comprehension, we can't comprehend what we are reading. We need someone to teach us. We need someone to tell us. We need someone to guide us. It's like a workman manual. You read a workman manual and the workman manual tell you how much you must tighten this torque, how much you must torque this bolt, how you must set this. But then it's like, what is the torque? How do I torque?
Okay. So you have no qualms about this 17 years missing in Christ's life?
I have no problem. I believe in
You accept by faith what King James version represents, and that's it.
I believe in Christ, and all of them say that you have the King James version, you have the International Standard version, and that is what that has been put so that we can understand it clearly. Because
by faith, because not everything is explained. So you're asked to just accept by faith. Don't question certain things. Just blindly accept.
Well, the Bible tells you that faith is the substance of things, hope for the evidence of things not seen. Because you know what could happen? I believe that Governors and Charlie Breadfoot was writers. I believe those guys write things. Somebody write things. And if somebody go across the road and find something hidden under a stone in a bottle, what they're going to say? They find a part of the Bible?
Depends on the relevance.
Because there are things that fellows say, oh, this is new today. There is nothing new under the sun. It may come around in a form. We talk about lesbianism, anti-manism, whatever we call it. It's nothing new. A city was destroyed because of that. So it was there back then. It was there back then, and it only now comes to us as something new because we weren't reading the Bible. We weren't trying to understand what the Bible said. So it comes as if it's something new to us, but it was there ever since the beginning. It is just that because the churches and the authorities had some belief in Christ, they tried to keep it in a law. But now we have politicians, we have churches who don't stand up for Christ-like guidance, and we go astray.
Okay.
Anyhow, later to the king.
Thank you much for your contribution.
I have to attend to another call. Okay.
We do that as we give our sponsors their due credits, and we'll be right back.
Here are your Horseman's Value Mart IGA specials.
Running June 13 to June 26.
Now our Value Club Blue Tag specials. Ocean Spray 100% cranberry juices, $14.99. Uncle Ben's Ready Rice, $11.49. Juicy Juice fruit juices, $13.99. IGA or Essential Everyday Pancakes and Waffles, $10.99. Essential Everyday Fries, $15.79. Suavitel fabric softener, just $19.99. And now our very low weekly
value deals. Chef Boyardee canned and microwave pasta, $6.99. Libby's canned vegetables, $2.99. Essential everyday old-fashioned and quick oats, $15.99. The Colgate toothpaste, $6.99. White Rain shampoo and conditioner, $4.99. Arm & Hammer liquid detergent, $14.99. Shop Smart, Shop Value Mart, tell them in Spanish.
Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí en Value Mart.
Are you ready to make your pipe dreams a reality? It's time to dive into savings at Hortford's Building and Nevis Centers with our Pipe Dreams Plumbing Sale. For the entire month of June, enjoy an incredible 25% off on all plumbing items. Yes, you heard right, 25% off. Faucets, sinks, pipes, and more. Don't let your dreams stay on hold any longer. Upgrade your home with top quality plumbing products at unbeatable prices. Whether you're a DIY enthusiast or a seasoned contractor, now is the time to turn your pipe dreams into reality. Visit Hortford's Building and Neva Centers today. But hurry, this dreamy offer ends with June. Make the most of your home improvement aspirations with our Pipe Dreams Plumbing Sale.
Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
At 12 minutes past 1, welcome back to the program. Do we have any call online? Okay, caller, you're live on Voices.
Oh, I'm back.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Cousin Montserrat. You can have different opinion and get along, you know.
Of course, we love that.
Yeah, you know, that's how we're supposed to live.
Absolutely.
So even though we may have different opinions, I like Greg, you know. Greg and I like him. He's persistent. You know, there are more Christians like Greg.
I need to go to a theological school to be able to deal with this.
You could do all that online, you know.
Online one?
Research. Yeah, you could research ideas.
Yeah, I need to get...
My good friend Journey. Journey, good afternoon. I'll be listening.
Okay.
You know, because as I said, I have been listening to the Bible.
Hey, by the way, Journey, if you listen, I'm coming across for lunch when I'm done. You know he's working, right?
Get your lunch today ready.
Yeah, I'm going to go there for lunch.
You want dumpling and saltfish?
Well, the food is good.
Food?
Pardon?
Do you still eat poor people food?
Dumpling, coconut, and breadfruit and plantain, of course.
All right, I want to know.
Of course, the rich people food is imported and all nonsense. They ain't doing that.
Anyway, let me
it's
tell
processed
you
food.
The Juneteenth.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I listened to something on the radio on my phone. They were having some ceremony in Dallas, Texas. They are actually trying to locate the slave cemeteries. And there is this one that they have in, I think it's Dallas. And what they discovered...
Uncovered?
Eh?
Uncovered.
They ran, when they were building a highway.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. I know about incident like that where they took the people's land, uprooted the cemeteries, and ran highways across them.
Yeah. Well, do you know in St. Kitts we have on mass graves?
We would have.
This College Street got. I don't know if you know when they had the flood in 1880.
I wasn't around them, but I know.
And the Methodist Cemetery. They were washed away.
I know about the two cemeteries in the Anglican churchyard.
But the Anglican churchyard cemetery is more on the Victoria Road end.
Yeah, they had a French cemetery for when the French occupied that same location, and one later on when the English took it over. So they have the only one in the region with two cemeteries, one French.
And that runs past the Irish Town School.
Okay.
When they had the cholera outbreak,
mm-hmm.
they buried the people in trenches down there.
Okay.
So I said, look at all that. Now, let me get to the tourism. You know, on the map, the McMahon map in the museum, you have the map of St. Kitts and the estates. On it are locations for slave villages.
Mm-hmm.
I always believe we should put up some kind of mark also, you know.
I need to go and look at that.
Yeah, and there's a man who wrote a book about Buckley's. I forgot the last one I can't see, about him I can't see. Because I read the book. He came here and he did some work from England.
Yes.
And he has the name of Buckley's, the estates. There is one, you know, all the Kenfield in Buckley's estate have names. I don't know if in the country is a common thing.
They did have, yes, very common.
All have names, Cherry Tree, Round Hill. There is a field called Negro Church. When you're going up Olive's, did you ever see Olive's great house when he was standing?
No.
The foundation didn't, but people keeping up all the stones. and just above the reservoir. But when you go up, you see where leader live? Where leader built his house across there?
Yes.
All right. I think before you reach his lot.
Okay.
That field is called Negro Church. The master who owned the Buckley's estate, Absalom Matthew. I think it's Absalom Abednego, one of those, yeah, Matthew. He was an Anglican member. And, of course, the Moravians were going to the estates to teach and to preach to the slaves. And as a good Moravian, he did not want the slaves to become Moravians.
Anglicans.
So he built a church for them in the place called Negro Church.
Okay. Okay.
So if you could get your hand on the book, I forget what the name of it, you know. But if you ask at the archives,
I'll do that.
you will see the map and the names, because he did some study, was even talking about how the people from the estate managers sent their children off to England rather than here.
That was our standard custom?
Yes. He said when the children reached to England, they were so out of touch, you know. But it's a very good book. It spoke about the culture of the people he met here. And he did a lot of work on Buckley's estate and his study. So the Negro Plaza had talking about the cattle church in Nevis.
Yeah, with the black Madonna?
Yeah. But I don't know if it was black or white. I didn't even know about no Madonna being there.
There's one over there in Nevis, the only one with the black Madonna, yeah.
The one, the cattle church?
I don't know if that's the same one, but there's a church in Nevis there. I think it's in St. James.
Most likely it's a Catholic
The black
church.
crucifix and black, yeah.
Yeah, so that in St. Kitts there was this church for the slaves. So it was not only in Nevis. So maybe I could look into it if you get the map. All I know is it's up by Alivis Road. Before you reach you know that you ever go up there?
Yes, I have. I've been
Right,
there.
that reservoirs, 2 reservoirs up there.
Mm-hmm.
But before you reach the reservoir, this man who used to run the bottling company, who Mr. Bratcher put on the plane,
Yeah, I heard about that too.
I think it's in that area there. But I say, and even the one with the Brimstone Hill, the Battle of Brimstone Hill, in the book, it has the map called the Battle of Brimstone Hill. It is on Kindle, because I downloaded it. I lost my Kindle.
There's a map that includes Brimstone Hill being part of Sandy Point. The current one has it from New Guinea going west, but still include past
Right,
Brimstone
and
Hill.
it got the post. It gives you the location of each post.
Yeah.
Give you the whole history,
Mm-hmm.
where each estate had to contribute 80 slaves each.
Till being on the fortress.
No. When the French and English were fighting, it's called the Battle of Brimstone Hill or the War of Brimstone Hill. You must have, if you have a Kindle account. The book is
I have my Kindle, I haven't used it, but I'm saying there is a recording of plantations donating enslaved Africans towards the building of the fortress.
It is in the book.
Okay.
Because I was saying, I couldn't put a marker. Some of them may be housing sites now,
Quite easily, the expansion.
Yeah, because it adds to the tour. So when you say, there was a battle of Brimstone Hill and the French fought the English and what? They have the layout of the battle. All of these things have to enhance the tours that we do.
I focus a lot on the survival and the development of the country, not only about slavery, but I focus on where we came from, where we are today, and, the projections. Let them know we're a progressive nation.
Of course. We start somewhere.
But do you have any information about when they were excavating down to build the Shell Bulk, Delhi Bay Road? My information is they found 12 skeletal remains, and research indicated it was the last mass execution of 12 pirates. Because of the structure of the bone, they thought they might have been enslaved.
Anybody give you the year? Because you see their documents as I said, the Methodist report, they had to do an annual report. The Moravian, I found the Moravian one very, very good. Have you read it?
No.
It tells you about the time when the French were ruling St. Kitts. People never tell you that.
But I know at their time they ruled.
And the number of earthquakes they had. But it's good to take time to read. I did a lot of the reading when I was doing the research in my book.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised. Sometimes we get so I'm encouraging people, you know. So when I heard them, they're trying to build a bridge or something, and they have a cemetery, and forget what I call it, Tranquility. I think you call it Tranquility Garden. The one in Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people would know your ancestors buried under this road, and they say when they wanted to widen the road. I think the first time they just disposed of the skeletal remains.
The bulldozer area. The bulldozer area. And there are many incidents of that in the U.S.
Yeah, because in saying the question is, where did they bury the slaves?
There's a place behind Brimstone Hill, New Guinea area called Bantu, right? And I thought it was like Bantu slave, but actually spoke Bantu. That area behind there was a enslaved community. It doesn't say where they buried their dead, but right behind there was a very large thing. They used to call it Bantu. As a matter of fact, behind...
I think they're called Negro villages.
All right.
On the map.
Okay.
Check it out. Because some of them are easily accessible.
You used to call it Bantu.
Right down where you got Best Buy, the area there.
Mm-hmm.
That was the slave village for Buckley's.
For Buckley's, okay.
And there was another one, I think, down by Campbell, called down by Davis. So, you know, all of these things are interesting, and the students who do history. Everybody writing their history, you know.
Well, their history, that's what we're dealing with. Their history, ours, we discard. We don't pay attention to because it's nothing chronicled. When I interviewed the lady who was 100 years at the time, I asked her certain things about Sandy Point and where the slave market was. She knew nothing about it because they were not taught that. She was an educator.
In Bastille. You know, a lot of these, there's a question about this queer. It's questionable. That they were sold really in the warehouses. You never know that?
I know even across on Liverpool Road.
Yes.
They were the old one. They sold the slave person there. But I'm saying I have seen the change in the dungeons of the building around Independence Square, where Mr. Blatcher owned that building where ISIS had a flower shop. In the basement there were chains, easily seen.
Yeah, but what I'm saying that they were sold in other places.
I understand that.
About the square. It was a slave market where they went to sell. It was a pasture.
And I am by the interpretation.
It was just a pasture.
So if they're sold in the warehouses, the platform down there by Meridian Medical, that platform serves an auction block.
I mean about that.
As you go by there, says Meridian Medical, whatever, that platform.
And the building to the east of it is the one with the basement.
Yeah. Well, the basement are there with the chains, so why sell them elsewhere when you have this basement right there in the square? So people try to change up. Well, no, it was just for the slave to sell it there.
Are more useful because you were selling the open. I read in this book, a lot of the history books, they're on the Kindle and they're free. There's one called Christmas in the Caribbean, in the West Indies, really. Different other ones, you know. So when I saw the thing yesterday, I said, look at that. In St. Kitts, we don't even know. Look at Christina. It couldn't be worse than Christina. They bury them in trenches as they have done before. Where's the marker?
The one up at in the cemetery to the eastern end, that area they had like a cordon off area over the years. It just disappeared.
Break down and that's it. And
that's it.
Yeah. People on top of the people.
Okay, Carl is trying to get in. She's making some comments, so let's begin to get a call from her before we close today.
Oh, before I go.
Yeah.
On Saturday, it rained out the barbecue we were supposed to have. So the water out the fire every time. So they intend to have the barbecue again on Friday in the same place.
Mm-hmm.
So I am encouraging people, begging you, please go and support the Association of Persons with Disability as we try to raise funds for our activities.
Thank you very much for that. Okay, let's see if we get Carla. She's trying to get on the line. Lady Asafan, Trent is on the control. Let's see if we can get you in for a bit of a chat before we close up for today. All right. What do we have here? Okay, she's typing. She's making a contribution. Juneteenth is the enslaved. Yeah, okay. Juneteenth is the enslaved in America and Emancipation Day. We got that. But if you can call him, we can have a little chit chat. Try it now if you can. If you're in a position to do so. Okay, we have a caller line. Good day, caller. You're live on Voices. And we missed that one. Got about 4 minutes to go, so let's see who can get in before we end the program today. I have something sent to me. Let me see if I can read it. Okay, caller, you live on Voices.
Socrates?
Yes.
Yes, let me say something quickly.
Please.
Let me say something quickly. Number one, no one is saved by being water baptized, okay? We are saved by faith only, and not by water baptism. Your part in the book of Acts says, baptized for the remission of your sins. The Greek word there really means baptized as a sign of the remission of your sins, not to bring about the remission of your sins.
Okay.
So we are saved through faith only and not by water baptism. And there are no missing books of the Bible. We have all the books of the Bible.
Okay,
There's
thank you for
none
that.
missing.
Okay, thanks. Let me see if we get
Thank
next
you.
call in. Appreciate that. Okay. We have 3 minutes to go. Let's see if we get the next call on the line. Yeah, some viewers in the OECS 3 minutes, but another time. All right. What I do, Carla, I ask if there are any callers on the line at the time. There's none. I let the persons continue the conversation. Right, so hope one appreciates that. Okay, I had something else to read. I missed it. Okay, we got about 2 minutes to go. And we have one call on the line. Go to caller. Your 11 Voices.
Well, let me finish my Socrates. Socrates, the thief on the cross, Jesus said, "From today you will be with me in paradise." You know, me get baptized. Does that answer your question?
Yes, go ahead quickly. Yes, we have 2 minutes. Less than 2 minutes to go.
Yes, but right? Okay, baptism. You see, our spiritual thing and our physical thing. So, with the physical eyes, you can really see the transformation. So, water baptism only just one identification, just to show that you're a follower of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't get the chance to do that, right? Okay, you can sit down on your hospital bed and you accept Christ there. Anybody else so crazy for take you off your hospital before you go baptized? You're gonna buy number, man?
They take you from there to go and vote.
That's all risk still.
A different thing.
That's all risk. Because well, even right now, they kind of change something, you know, that election day, the electoral
supervisor?
People, yes, right. They can go to the hospital and different some and get your vote. But you know, all party go after there, right?
Mm-hmm.
All party go after there. Right.
Okay.
So they make the kind of vision there. But you sit on your hospital bed, somebody said that they get sick.
Yeah, they won't take you from there to go and baptize you unless, you know, they can do it on your thing.
Listen, if they carry the baptize and you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
Christian or not Christian, you go before the court.
Okay. Well, here's what. We are out of time. Thank you for being the last caller. All right, and hopefully come Friday we can continue the whole biblical debate, the whole text. According to Carla, she was trying to get into discuss more of the OECS treaty of Bastille, but it wasn't possible. But I want to thank all of viewers, all our callers, those who made a contribution by text or otherwise for being part of today's presentation of Voices. Hopefully, God's willing, we'll have another chance to do so on Friday. I want to wish you peace, love, and a much brighter tomorrow. Bye now.
Attention, savvy shoppers. It's that time of year again to upgrade your home and feed your family with Hortford's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store. For over 25 years, we've been making dreams come true by offering cashback coupons for free groceries on all hire purchases. That's right, we've given away over $1 million worth of groceries to our loyal customers. And this year, it's your time to cash in on the savings. Whether you're in the market for a new sofa, a sleek kitchen upgrade, or a cozy bedroom set, Hortford's and Ashley Furniture Home Store have everything you need to turn your house into a home. And when you make a higher purchase with us, you'll receive cashback coupons redeemable for free groceries. Yes, sir. So why wait? Visit